Hey everybody, my name is Gold and today's the day we find out, could you beat Pokemon Black with a team of only one torkoal? Let's get into the rules. In combat, I can only use torkoal. I'm allowed to catch up to Pokemon for agents, but not using those Pokemon in battle. I'm also not allowed to heal during battle. Only held items and items outside of combat are allowed. Finally, no glitches or points. And comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm confident that I can, but I'm sure that the first gym are to face that water type and the ground gym are going to be incredibly brutal. I chose to replace Tepig, meaning our rival would take Oshawott, which is probably the harder starter for us to fight. Alright, first rival fight time. Bianca ended up with Snivy, making this a trivial Ember Blow. Then next was Chern, which I was a little bit more nervous for, and despite my attempts to use Smog, I had trouble landing hits on Chern's Pokemon, but thanks to the AI choosing to use Tail Whip, even though I had the White Smoke ability, I was able to beat Chern, so it wasn't that bad after all. Next I decided to name my Torkoal Franklin, which if you get that reference, we're basically friends already. Okay, let's take a look at Franklin's stats. Has a plus attack and minus speed nature, meaning it's already terrible speed is being constantly brought down. And the part that it's putting up, its physical attack, is not really useful to me, specifically because it's a special attacker mostly. However, on the upside, it has amazing physical defense, and pairing that with White Smoke, which stops its stats from being lowered in battle, I think Franklin will actually turn out to be pretty good. One burned cat and another easy Bianca fight later. Man, she should really stop trying. And we're on to the first obstacle of the run. Cheren actually having a water type move. I tried once at level 9 and got absolutely murdered by his funny otter. So I went and leveled up to level 10 and tried again, and nope, it wasn't gonna happen. So back to grinding I go. Yay! Level 11, and third time's the charm as I lose again. Looks like I have no choice but to keep grinding. Level 12 and I'm pretty much on my knees at this point, begging Cheren to stop his ungodly reign of terror on my turtle, and after 3 attempts at level 12, I finally do it, and without 1 minute of rest, I'm immediately thrown to the next hardest challenge, the gym. For this gym, I have to fight Cress and his god-forsaken water monkey. So I try the gym once at level 13 and lose swiftly. Then I try again at level 14 and lose again. I think you get the idea from the Chern fight. Let me tell you, it took until level 17 to beat this frickin' gym. I nearly threw myself out a window. I'm just so glad it's over and I can move on to something easier. I quickly beat the Team Plasma Guns to keep kicking the baby and I'm ready to... Oh no. There's another Chern fight. I try once at level 17 and lo and behold, I lose. Look, I'll just come back when I win. You don't want to see all this. Trust me. About 20 minutes of crying later and exactly one more level and we're back to face Chern again. This time it went much better, so we're actually able to win, mostly because I think Torkoal actually hit a lot more Smogs than he missed, which means that we actually were able to do damage. Thank you, Torkoal. Very cool. I walked down towards the next route and I saw Chern again. Anyway, where was I? I headed towards the city, I fought N, and then I thought I was ready to take on the gym. But oh boy, was I wrong. I thought I'd be able to defeat the gym easily because, you know, Torkoal's one cool thing is his defense. But it was loss after loss after loss with no end in sight. So I just threw him at the gym over and over until at level 23 I finally got lucky and was able to defeat Lenore. It wasn't pretty, but I'll take what I can get. After watching Team Plasma steal a Pokemon fossil in broad daylight, then proceed to return it about 2 minutes later, I made my way over to the Skyro Bridge, which is unironically one of my favorite parts of Generation 5. I just think it looks really cool, and it's really nice to see how they turned something that wasn't 3D into a really cool 3D aspect type thing. Anyway, after that I headed to the Bug Gym, and I have to admit that I made a mistake and tried to battle it when I wasn't fully healed up because I got a little overconfident, and then Dwebble kind of beat me open. But then I went back to Nurse Joy and cried for about an hour, and then I quickly proceeded to beat Berg, which should have happened the first time, but I don't know, I just didn't. Okay, shut up. Next was Bianca, and as per usual, she was extremely easy. She tried to add a water monkey to her team, but Franklin and I have overcome that part of our journey, so it was not much of a challenge. Next up was another battle with Chern, but something was different this time. To my surprise, Torkoal was able to defeat him on the first try. Turns out that Flamethrower is an incredibly effective move at this stage of the game, even if he does have a water type. After watching Bianca get bullied by her dad, I had a date with N, and we proceeded to battle. Honestly, wasn't the worst date I've ever been on. Then I headed into the electric gym, and to my surprise, Torkoal proved to be really good in this fight. He was able to defeat the gym very quickly with, no resistance at all. But my streak of easy wins came to a sudden halt when I had to face Chern once again. He completely destroyed me this time, but after leveling up a bit and a few more attempts, I finally got lucky and just barely managed to beat him. Next I pimp slapped some gingers I found in cold storage, and then I was on to the biggest challenge of the run. the ground type gym. Oh, wait, no, never mind. It was easy. I beat it in one try. Let's go. Next, I rang a bell at the tower and was quickly on to the next gym. It was also very easy. I think Franklin's just too goated, I'm gonna be honest. On my way to Twist Mountain, I encountered Sharon once more, yet this time Torkoal was easily able to defeat his whole entire team. Then we headed straight into the gym, and this one was one of the easiest gyms yet. Because Bryson had Ice type and I had so many good Fire type moves, Torkoal was easily able to burn down the competition. After the gym, I witnessed N making out with a legendary dragon, and then it was time for the final Bianca fight. This time she came prepared and easily took out my Torkoal, so I had to come back a few levels later. Returning at level 57, Bianca led with her Stoutland, which was down in just 2 heat waves from Torkoal, dealing only a small little damage with Retaliate. Next was Simipour, which hit me hard with Scald, but I retaliated with a Body Slam, prompting Bianca to use a Full Restore. Another Body Slam was enough to take it down. Then came Superior, which was defeated in just 2 heat waves after I missed the first one. Finally there was Musharna, which was a tough opponent and managed to bring me down quite low, but in the end, Torkoal emerged victorious. This fight proved to me that Bianca truly had become a worthy rival. Next was the final gym, which I defeated easily despite the resistance Dragon posed against Torkoal's fire moves. Then it was the final Charon fight. He started with Unpheasant, who hit a really weak air slash and then got taken out with one powerful heat wave. Next was his Samurott, who did heavy damage with Aqua Tail, but Torkoal retaliated with a Body Slam that managed to paralyze, so he was able to take it out the next turn. Then was Liepard, who quickly fell to another heat wave. And then finally was Simisear, who was defeated via a combination of Body Slam and Bulldoze. The fight was intense, and Charon too proved to be a worthy rival. Finally, we had reached Victory Road. Every action we had done led us here. The Trio Badge, the Basic Badge, the Insect Badge, the Bolt Badge, the Quake Badge, the Jet Badge, the Freeze Badge, and last, the Legend Badge, all together to lead us to the Elite Four. First was Grimsley. He led with Scrafty, who I easily took down in 4 flamethrowers. Then out came Krokorok, who was a one-shot with Heat Wave. Then was Liepard, who used Fake Out, only to be taken down the following turn. And then was Bisharp, who fell in 1 flamethrower. Next was Chantal, and it took me quite a few attempts to actually end up beating her, so here's a compilation of a bunch of failed attempts on my way to where I just try, fail, I'd level up, try again, fail, level up, here you go. Then was the winning Chantal fight at level 80. Cofagrigus goes down in 1 flamethrower, then comes out Golurk, who hits an Earthquake for quite a bit of damage and then gets taken out in the following turn. After that is Jellicent, who went down in 2 Bulldozes, then finally Chandelure, who hit a Shadow Ball bringing me down quite low and then went down to 1 Bulldoze. Next was Caitlyn, and as last time, here's a bunch of failed attempts before the one that I won. Then the one that I won. She leads off with 3 Nucleus, who gets 3 shot by Body Slam. Then comes out Gothitail, who went down in 2 Body Slams. After that was Musharna, who went down in 1 critical Body Slam. Then last was Sigalith, who almost killed me, but went down in 1 Heat Wave afterwards. Finally was Marshall, who led with Throw, which Franklin took out in 1 Flamethrower. Then was Sock, who survived thanks to Sturdy 3 times, then was taken down. After that was Conkelder, who went down in 1 Heat Wave. And finally was Miensha, who hit a weak Stone Edge and then was swiftly defeated. Now we're on to the final challenge of the run, N in Getsis. Now was the final end fight, who led was Zekrom, which Franklin took down in 1 Bulldoze. Then was Caracosta, who survived the first and went down 2 later. After that was Archeops, who missed Stone Edge and was quickly dispatched. Then was Clink Clang, who went down in 1 Heat Wave, and next Zorark, who also went down in 1 Heat Wave. And finally, Vanillix, who was able to be beaten with 1 Heat Wave as well. And at last we were at the final battle of the run, Getsis, who led with a Cofagrigus, who went down in 1 Flamethrower. Then was Bouffalon, who had a similar fate. After that was Seismitoad, who went down in 2 Bulldozes. Then was Bisharp, who went down in 1 Heat Wave. And next was Hydreigon, who took many Body Slams to take down. And finally was Electros, who went down in 1 Heat Wave. And we had done it. We had proved in fact that you could beat Pokemon Black with a team of 1 Torkoal. Of course, if you enjoyed the video all the way up until this point, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below and tell me which part was your favorite. While you're here, you might as well check out a couple other videos that I make. I'm currently making a series with Meme Lord Pokemon, a Pokemon X Cage Lock, which is a really interesting series. I'm sorry that this video took so long to make. It was just that I had almost got it done and then I lost motivation to do it. I'm going to try and start to do this series more often, so go ahead and tell me which Pokemon and which games you'd like me to see me do. And of course, I've been Gold. and I'll see you later.